8 test screens, 3 different endings, 3 different music composers, and the film comes out in June. DC Supergirl is either a masterpiece they cannot stop perfecting or in serious trouble. I know which one I think it is.
Touché.
Having someone on your team who worked on that Death Note movie is not a good sign. Let's just look at the facts. 8 test screenings is more than any other studio film this decade according to World of Real, aside with a solid track record on this stuff. 3 different endings, they brought a new composer 3 months before release, and reactions, the honest summary is not disastrous but not glowing either. That's a charitable version. The stuff people actually like, Millie Alcock. Universally praised by women and men. Everyone agrees Alcock is great in it, and that's kind of a problem when the best thing anyone can say about your superhero movie is that lead actor is trying really hard. That tells you something about everything around her. Action sequences don't land. The main villain Krem feels underwhelming. They've been adding more Superman scenes, which is a classic studio panic move. When your movie isn't working, you throw in more popular character and hope nobody notices. But here's what really got my attention. The film isn't even out yet. June 26 is the release date, and already Alcock is out there saying this. It's definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them, I can only be myself. I want to be fair here, she's probably talking about real online harassment which does happen and is genuinely not okay, but the timing of this statement months before release while test screenings are coming back mixed is not a coincidence. This is the excuse machine warming up. This is the preloading the narrative so that when critics show up they can be dismissed as misogynist rather than people responding to mediocre product. And we have seen this play out so many times now, it's basically a genre of its own. Captain Marvel comes up, mixed audience reception, anyone who doesn't love it is a sexist. Black Widow, underperformed, sexism. Eternals has Angelina Jolie gets terrible reviews, must be sexism. The Marvels becomes one of the lowest grossing MCU film ever, sexism again. Elena in Black Widow, Wasp across multiple films, Gamora across the Guardians trilogy. Anytime a female-led content underperforms, the criticism gets directed at the audience. Nobody stops and asks, maybe Captain Marvel character was written as unlikable on purpose and audience noticed. Maybe the Marvels had a story problem that had nothing to do with the gender. Maybe audiences will watch women and superhero films just fine because they already have for decades, as long as the film is actually good. Wonder Woman made over $800 million. Alien is one of the greatest action films ever made. Nobody boycotted Terminator 2 because Sarah Connor was too strong. The argument that audiences won't accept women in these roles is simply not supported by the box office history. What audiences won't accept is a bad film, and that's not sexism, that's called having a standards. The actual problem with the Supergirl, from everything we know so far, isn't that it stars a woman. Is that director Craig Gillespie, who made Itonia, doesn't seem to have a handle on large-scale action sequences. Is that they have changed Krem's look completely from the comics and he comes across as a generic villain. Is that the visual tone is darker and more muted than the source material in a ways that feels like a mismatch. These are craft problems, story problems, not gender problems. And Millie Alcock deserves better than to have a mediocre film's failure blamed on her gender. She's clearly talented, she was great in House of the Dragons, she was praised in Superman, she's not a problem here, the film around her might be. Look, I could be wrong, test screenings aren't final cuts, there are still time to fix this. Some people who saw the early versions called it genuinely good, and to be fully honest, one person who claims to have seen a cut called it a damn good, bordering on a really damn good, and said it packs a punch at under 2 hours. Some other positive voices out there, I'm not cherry picking the bad stuff. The reactions are genuinely split, which is actually almost worse than unanimously negative because it means nobody really knows what this film is yet, apparently including including the people making it. DC is trying to build something with James Gunn and I want it to work, but the pattern here worries me. 8 screenings, no settled ending, mixed reaction, and already laying the groundwork to blame the audience if it bombs. That's not a confidence, that's a damage control. The verdict before release, cautiously pessimistic. June 26, we'll see. Drop your prediction in comments. Is Supergirl going to surprise us, or is this another for the list? If you haven't seen our Harry Potter reboot video, it's on the screen now. Same energy, different universe.